easy to understand what these patterns look like when it comes to engaging. These new picks that Immortals was trying in the earlier game, it's too far down the line. These are things to try middle of the season, like the Gragas in the top lane. Yes, it's a very powerful pick, but the level of execution that you need to have and that your team needs to know that you're capable of is so many layers of work that you have to have put in these earlier games before you can actually get to that level. So keeping things simple with the Camille, something I really like out of Dignitas already.
Yeah, could also pair with that Galio, but not this time around because Samira is actually the pickup there for Neo. Pretty explosive AD, so excited to see that one grace the Rift. In general, actually, AD has been pretty exciting. I know people have strong opinions on the strength of the AD items, and I think I can at least agree that Gale Force is quite good, but most of them seem to be pretty good right now. Kaisa also been extremely popular, perhaps the most popular AD so far this event. And we may be going back to Gragas here for event. We'll see in 15 seconds, but it was Gray's first here for Potluck, so it almost feels like, especially if they give the Galio over here as they will lock in the Gragas, IMT might be running into a similar issue, Crumbz, where they've got good damage threats, they've got champions that their players are capable of playing, but, you know, what's the go button here? Because on Dig, you know what their plan's going to be. They've got Camille Galio.
And that's part of where you see the differences in the way that the rosters are built with players translates into the champions, because you got a lot of rookies on the side of Immortal, not necessarily rookies, but newer players there, but not a lot of veterans. Whereas on Dignitas, you have those two veterans in Dardoch and Aphromoo that are supposed to be playing these utility-style champions so that the rest of the team can be playing the carries and can guarantee that these fights happen to the power spikes that the carries are getting. If Immortals, this is not the roster that they're running through for the LCS team, so they don't have those veterans. This is supposed to be Xerxes and Destiny coming in to kind of fill in that same spot that Dardoch and Aphro is doing for this team. So I think that's why we're seeing some struggles, and it is unfortunate that we have to judge the Academy team playing here into the LCS, but any games that they can get here, if they could even get into the playoff side of the lock-ins tournament, it's just going to be a huge success for their Academy run and any promotions that the players might find.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even the full Academy team, right? It's, you know, kind of a mishmash of both their rosters because the LCS starters are playing with, the solo laners are playing with the rest of the Academy squad, who's also been coached by a different coach as well. So, like, there's quite a lot of pieces to put together in a relatively short amount of time. But again, it is going to be small steps here for Immortals, as we'll see what happens here in the rest of this draft. Bans are finished for Phase 2. Talia, Nidalee, Alistar, and Rel all being kicked off the table. And that would be a different one. There's Karthus. There you go.
Wow, yeah, that's very different for Dardoch right away, just trying to outpace the side of Immortals. And Immortals, in the games that we've seen from them, they really didn't do a whole lot. So taking a pick like Karthus just says, I'm going to power farm, I'm going to play against Graves in your own game. Our lanes are going to hold themselves together, and as long as you don't get to invade with the Graves having priority in your lanes, Karthus is going to outpace almost every single jungler. It's something that you didn't really expect to see out of the Dardoch Aphro synergy that was pretty good towards the end of last split for engaging, but it's a strong pick, and Dardoch is certainly delivering on many carry junglers throughout his career.
Yeah, I kind of liked, oh, Talia ban, Nidalee ban, don't worry, I had a third one all along as the Karthus is locked in there for Dardoch. Draft almost finished though for Immortals. Viktor actually already locked in for Insanity, a champion that has seen play around the world. Actually seems pretty good right now and did have some very small changes. Mainly, he doesn't have an item inbuilt into his inventory anymore. He has a slightly different system for upgrades, but other than that, is the same Viktor that you may know and love. Nautilus last pick there for Joey. I think this is at least a little bit more simplistic. Crumbz, we asked them to get a big go button. That is a very nice big go button there. Nautilus, with the help of, say, Gragas, can certainly set things up for Kaisa and the rest of the carries, but throw it all out the window, Crumbz. My favorite champion is back out on the Rift. Soligo is going to go for round 2 of the Yone.
Yeah, that's what I'm grinning about, because if you were wondering, oh, who should be a fan of Soligo, the man's got 2 games of Yone under his belt already. If that's not enough to capture your heart looking into the mid lane, I don't know what is, because he's already making his debut here, full timing, and busting out these champions with good compositions to revolve around. And this is Yone Camille with a Galio jumping on top of you and a Karthus ultimate. So these are actually some really creative compositions out of Dignitas, and if Soligo can continue to pilot this pick, we might actually get to see a different flavor that not a lot of other teams have pulled off.
Yeah, and again, it's almost like Soligo has gone into like a time capsule. If you look at his last LCS appearances and certainly his earlier games in Academy around that time as well, he was like all Azir Orianna. That's what he was known for. Maybe Twisted Fate every now and then. And to be fair, that was more of the meta. But you know, his last year in Academy, he still had those picks, right? He's still very good on control mages, but I saw this man play Pantheon at every available opportunity. He's clearly a big fan of Yone right now. Like, he has done a lot of work to diversify his champion pool, and I think that should be applauded for a player that is still, you know, looking in some ways, a second shot on the LCS, looking to continue to impress and say, hey, those first few games you saw of me on the LCS stage, what, maybe a year ago now, I'm a very different player from them, and I'm here to prove that.
And the biggest area that I think he and many of the new players have to prove is in the laning phase. Can you actually get past laning against some of these players like Impact, like Perks, these guys that have been around for so long that know quite a few tricks that might beat you in a specific matchup? If they can just get past that phase, the team fighting is just an all for grabs. Everything is up for grabs at that point. So Soligo's team fighting has been one of their strongest points. Not necessarily, I think, the mid 2v2 to get into those leads, but team fighting afterwards. He's certainly been very hyphy. So if he can get past the laning, and he has laned against Insanity pretty much a lot of last year,
yeah.
I think he's going to have a good time. They're very familiar in this game with each other.
Yep. I was going to say, I believe it's 9 of the 10 players currently on the Rift have played in Academy fairly recently in a lot of cases. So certainly pretty familiar with each other, but I'll see how it all pans out as Dardoch, with help of the bottom lane, is going to go ahead and start this blue buff. And I think that is an interesting dynamic when we talk about Dardoch being, you know, a more permanent fixture now, more of a veteran in this team, and Soligo being the new guy. When you have a jungler like Dardoch, especially when he's playing these sorts of picks, you're the one that needs to press your own advantage in lane, because you know that Dardoch wants to farm safely and possibly invade as well. So it's kind of your job as the mid laner to support your jungler, which has become more common, whereas traditionally it's been the jungler's job to support the mid laner, which is not going to be the case in this lane.
It was something that Dig did quite well yesterday in their match. They actually were able to coordinate both the Taliyah and FakeGod's Renekton pressure to harass the top side of the map. Even Soligo was assisting with his recalls in Fog of War to make sure that Dardoch actually was able to play through vision a bit better. So they're quite aware of what Dardoch wants, and I think that's that vocality that we heard from the CEO in the earlier video about Dignitas that they like about Dardoch. At this point, they're taking a chance with him. They got with the re-signing, and as long as he can continue to communicate what he needs and the team can deliver it for him, then I think he can set himself up for the career that he's always wanted. And I want to see him succeed here on Dignitas, because I think the pairing with Aphromoo is exciting, and seeing a carry jungler from NA is always something that we always felt like we were starved for him. Blabber came along and like, okay, maybe this is the guy, but Dardoch can make a comeback in that department. I think it'll just make the LCS a lot more exciting, because bottom teams or teams that aren't necessarily spending the big bucks that can still compete are always a thrill to watch.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Dardoch's skill, I think, has never been the question when it comes to Dardoch. It's maybe some of the things surrounding him, but doing well so far. Level 4, speeding through the jungle, outpacing Potluck in both farm and XP. Of note, Revenge has also gone Comet this game. He went Grasp in his game earlier today. For the tank, Gragas is going to be going for much more AP, I have to imagine. So a bit more in line with the Gragas builds that at least I've been seeing leading up into this tournament from the many different events and leagues around the world. But going to be a different look here for Revenge. He's not just the front line this time. He can add to fights.
And he's happy to just farm away here. Can't even think about trying to trade here with the junglers being on the opposite side. And the only advantage that has happened in this game at the moment has been that Dardoch has been able to get a recall and will be able to start his second rotation of jungle camps at the moment. It is why he got a little bit of extra help from the bottom lane in his earlier clear. And as long as Potluck continues to look for a gank here, all that time is just going to be adding to the clock to how far Dardoch is ahead of this grave. So let's see if this play pans out, because Nautilus is committing to.
All right, Smokescreen going to have to flash, does indeed do so. Potluck though going to find him. Soligo going to have to dance around there, but he's caught in the gravity field. There's the hook from Joey, who roamed up, and first blood goes over to Potluck.
Just a great timing there from Joey on that roam. That was that was not the moment that Soligo could have afforded to die, because that would have been a great time for Karthus to just start power clearing. But look at what Joey did. The way bottom lane was crashing, there wasn't anybody threatening a dive. Mid lane was already pushing back as Soligo was trying to get a recall. So really good reading of the mid and bot lane states to know that you have a small window to pick on the Yone.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, Yone does have a lot of mobility, but as soon as you commit Soul Unbound, unlike LeBlanc's Distortion, you have to go back at some point.
Yeah, it's you hate to see it when you're Yone, you use that spell, and then they're all piling up on you, just waiting for you to return to your death.
And at least he has TP, so going to use it there to get back to lane here and try and recoup some of the farm he's lost, because Insanity with that tier charging up, currently sitting up about 10 ahead, as Dardoch going to get caught here by a nice hook from Joey again on the roam from bot lane. Into the gravity field goes Dardoch, got the flash, but he's absolutely dead, I think, as he's ignited away, but Aphro swoops in with the taunt after flashing in to save his jungler. And now Soligo over the top is onto Insanity, going to get some damage poked in here, but shouldn't be anything more than this.
What a bro Aphromoo. using his flash to even save Dardoch. The Karthus didn't get to burn his. That's a huge spell to be able to have around because he's so easy to pick off when he falls behind, when he can start being bullied without that summoner spell. Instead, he just gets to continue to farm away, and it's going to be hitting that level 6 very soon, and that's when it's going to start to get tricky for IMT to think about playing these side lanes, especially around the Camille. Revenge is already anticipating that he's going to need a stopwatch to deal with Camille and Karthus.
What just happened?
He's full. Wait, he's full health.
He's not anymore. FakeGod lost it all. I'm sure we'll get a replay of that 1v1, but Revenge just straight up solo killed FakeGod.
Okay, yeah,
I can't wait to see this.
He's got ulti, like Revenge has his ulti, so he must have hit level 6 before FakeGod and maybe gone for a play after that. That's the one thing I can deduce from here. But they've got flashes, right? They've got everything. It really just shows you the power of the Seeker's arm.
All right, what happened here? He's not even 6 yet.
Okay, FakeGod's greeting for the wave. That's got to be it, right? He's just hard greeting for it.
One creep, surely. Yep. See ya.
Yeah.
Very nice and Revenge is topside. He's going to see if Dig can get just that here. Going to flash out there, but Dardoch still doing quite a lot of damage. Has to dance around the Skittles, but no such luck here. But actually a good belly bomb finds him on the back end of the hitbox, and FakeGod's forced to flash in to finish off the kill.
There wasn't any mana on Dardoch, but he's finding ganks when he's playing the champion that's supposed to be power farming here. Keeping up with the Graves is a really good timing because he still has the ultimate, so he's going to be able to go and make even more plays across the map while continuing to stick to his own side. And this top lane action has already been just the most surprising place for action. Like, this is usually a matchup where both these top laners can do so much to get out of and gank and engage, but still they're killing each other, finding a way.
Yeah, I mean, they're both doing damage, so like it's a bit more volatile perhaps, but certainly Dardoch just roamed up and said, hey, Camille still got flash and ulti. I reckon we can finish this one off nice and easily, and indeed they did. Taunt to Joey there from Aphro as Neo's going to get in there. Just a bit of damage poked back and forth. Aftershock keeping both these supports very healthy in a lot of these trades, as Insanity's going to go ahead and get the blue buff donated over. Revenge, though, continuing to just take trades here against FakeGod and looking very successful as Potluck's on the strong side this time. He's going to take the Riptail through himself here after Revenge applied that pressure in lane.
I think a big difference out of Revenge is Gragas here. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he went tank Gragas in the first game. Did. Yeah, so now he's going AP, and he's getting way more value out of this champ now. Not only because you can actually kill someone and they're afraid of you, and you can actually punish the mistakes that they're making. Because had he gone with the tank Gragas build, FakeGod could have actually been allowed to make that greedy move and not die in the lane.
Hex Flash, hook, oh, good buffer, but he still gets caught. The pullback there from the Q, I think, did it, and Insanity with the Storm is going to chase it down. Soligo falls again.
That's another roam for Joey in the exact same timing. The bot lane wave is just crashing now, and Joey was able to roam either from base or from the lane into the mid lane and get Yone set further and further behind. This was the weakest area for many of the new players, and it is getting exploited. The last hitting is not going too well. The kills aren't either, and Fed Viktor right now is an S-tier mage, so Yone's comeback potential, you know, it's real with the CC, but you can still get one-shot by this mage.
Yeah, and again, like, not getting help, right? And probably not expected to. Dardoch has made his plan very clear, picking something like Karthus and wanting to farm up. So certainly it's snowballing a little here for Soligo. We'll see if he can at least keep it at this deficit, which is still pretty significant in all fairness, as Viktor is charging up in power. I think the other thing I like is that we'll hold that thought as Aphro was poking in here, but no one to potentially gank. And I know you've talked about this a lot, Crumbz, where I think AP Gragas just gives a lot more for your Graves, right? Graves can't CC people from himself, he just does damage. And I think pure tank Gragas doesn't have enough CC to get Graves over the line when he comes in for a gank. So even though that hasn't happened yet, I think Revenge is much better off setting up in the early game and mid game by actually having some damage to go behind the CC he does have.
And we have to remember that the Gragas barrels actually do a lot when it comes to zoning. Just laying one down can prevent somebody from walking there. You can think of it almost like an Anivia wall, because eventually you really cannot tank it, right? The AD cannot tank it, whereas if you're a tank Gragas, you can afford to fight bot lane.
Look into ulti. Here's Dardoch. Galio ulti coming down, but not going to happen here. Dardoch maybe pulling the trigger a little too early, but I think mostly Aphromoo just not having the health after another nice hook from Joey meant that they couldn't really do anything in that 2v2, although they were baiting for a play, so I do like attempting something there. Rift Herald though popped in mid, and Sandy is just going to get further and further ahead of Soligo in this mid lane as Joey again just sniping people as Potluck erases Dardoch in the river.
Oh man. IMT, not only are they actually able to find better plays, they're winning in CS across the board. That's what makes it so drastic for Dignitas. The fact that they're not even setting the pace here, they're getting out CS, outmatched across the map. Karthus had flash, could have been able to flash away from that play, but really at what cost? Just to flash away and concede the river for IMT here. And this is why this Karthus pick, Pastry, it's just so weird. I thought that they had finally locked into something that made a lot of sense for Dignitas, but there's not a lot of junglers across the world right now that will take this risk and put so much burden on the laners to pick a champion like Karthus.
Right. I mean, part of it is like, if Soligo just wanted to play Yone, right, if that's what he wants, you need an AP jungler, and IMT banned 2 of them in Phase 2 in this draft. So apart from Lilia, I guess, which would have been the other choice in that realm, like Dardoch didn't have very many AP jungle choices left if they're trying to play AD mid, and especially if they've already committed with Camille with AD top. So, like, in some ways, you're priced in here, but I mean, I assume Dardoch picked this champion. You know, no one made him play Karthus here, so... Right. And it's just unfortunate that, like, you know, top lane, mid lane, and I guess now bottom lane are just struggling here, which is not good news for Karthus. He wants the game to be, you know, as flat as possible so he can just power farm, you know, up to 11, 16 and carry from there. And when the game is much more interactive, Karthus has a lot less fun. Let's put it that way.
Well, the Karthus fun is always just a unique, different skill set. It's usually the MMO skill set that comes into play to have the Karthus fun. Just power PvEing the whole day long.
All right, well, Soligo, again, still trying to catch up in CS here, about 20 behind of Insanity. Actually, my math is horrible, 30 behind, as he's going to try and clean up a couple under that wave. Joey here going to CC up the crab for Potluck, who is just pleasantly farming here in this game, up over the Karthus, which is impressive given how well Dardoch did in his first 2 clears or so. Gale Force is already done for Potluck here, and Leandro is also done for Insanity on his side. So Mythic's starting to come out for IMT, although Shield Bow is now done for Neo, which does make Samira a significantly stronger threat, because she does need to dive into fights to get maximum value out of her ulti. And Potluck, unfortunately, is going to reset the blue he was trying to steal, but maybe it's all a bait, because Joey's right around the corner with the Hex Flash.
Oh yeah, and Soligo is not capable of collapsing right now, so Dignitas has to buy some time for him to show up. He's getting closer, so the fight's about to begin.
Flash ult finds 2 for Aphromoo. Insanity also low. Dardoch gets in there, gets the kill, and that's another one on the other side of Soligo. Dashes out of there. Neo, though, spinning around in the fight, trying to get a few more kills. Just wants to chase in. Potluck low, but not dead yet as Joey. He is going to fall, but Neo is going to be traded off by Keith, and it's an absolute mess here for this blue buff as Kaisa is able to grab the double kill, but here comes Dardoch channeling the ulti. He's going to cancel that recall. Potluck not going to die, though, as Soligo surely is going to get picked off here as Keith indeed will pick up 3 for himself.
Oh, and IMT had been setting up for that play for so long there. They really were just using the fog of war to make sure that everybody was as close as possible for that fight, but it was actually the engage from over the wall from Soligo that made it so that they could actually trade something in return for that. So you're going to have Kaisa capable of following up with her ultimate. So already you're thinking it's a 4v3 at the very least. How quickly can Soligo collapse onto this? And when they go in, the trouble for Dignitas here is not only is there a Viktor shield there, but they don't have vision. There's a control ward on the bot side for the side of IMT. So going in there for the side of Dig, way too difficult. And the Samira doesn't have the item and has not received the attention necessary to wipe a fight right there. It looked like what a Samira teamfight wipe usually is, but Samira tends to demand early attention, dives in the bottom lane, ganks to get an advantage. None of that has happened, so she's not able to get in there in 1v5.
Yep, and FakeGod did not have TP, does have it now, but if my eyes did not deceive me in that replay, FakeGod was not able to join that, so did some damage to the tower instead, as Rift Herald's going to go over to IMT as Keith and Revenge have both finished their Mythic up as well. It's Gale Force and Night Harvester, so much more AP focused here for Revenge. Soligo's going to lose his mid tower here. Insanity's just had a run of this lane.
Him and Joey. I think this is a 1v2 lane for Soligo, unfortunately.
That's
the
true.
Extra credits there go for the support here. And it's really been a matter of Aphromoo has not been able to find much. Usually you see him as the catalyst for the team. I just think it's the champion synergies that don't allow him to really get away with that, because you usually see the Samira paired with like a Leona or an Alistar and just tower dives the bot lane non-stop. That's the action that you're expecting. And here when he's playing the Galio, you're just looking to combo with somebody else that goes in, but the Camille is on the top side of the map, so that synergy is somewhat lost, and your Yone has fallen behind. So all we got to see is FakeGod going for a 1v1, but he gets slammed out.
Get owned. Oh, good ult though. FakeGod going to dodge that cast, but Joey trying to cut him off at the pass, gets into the wall, and FakeGod just trying to finish off the kill, but the Nautilus ulti is going to seal it. Ooh. But for whom? Now Joey's caught in there as FakeGod's going to get Precision Protocol proc, but there's Potluck with the sniper. Soligo's out of there with the Souls Unbound.
Oh, they are so close. Just a little bit more gold and would have been able to trade such a commitment from IMT, but there's more.
Oh, he's so strong, it just doesn't matter. Keith on a rampage going to take down Soligo. Aphromoo is just going to get stunned up and shot down as Keith able to grab himself a double kill. And now the Rooftop's going to finish off the tower. IMT just getting further and further ahead. Crumbz 6,000 gold up right now.
It is a massacre. They're all over the map.
He's 2 levels down. Oh, Joey, you can't do this. Surely, Skittle, just keep dodging. Keep dodging, Joey. It's going to be okay. No, it's not. I take it all back. Dardoch manages to at least shut down the ambitious 1v1 attempt from Joey.
But you see what's happening. This is what IMT is confident enough to do. For the jungler to try to 1v1 Dardoch in the jungle was close. Was actually very close to doing it. And that is a huge boost to the confidence of IMT that this is what's happening. And last year, this was a bit of the troubles that plagued Dignitas, where it was very hard for the team to find the right plays when they were falling behind. It felt like they just died without really doing much. And we blamed it on the draft at that time, and I think, again, here the draft and the way that it was specifically played around with their current strengths just didn't pan out. This is that 1v1 that quickly turned into a big fight. It's great cancels from each other. You know, the slam, canceling the hook shot, then the ultimate, canceling the cast, but then you just have more people here. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, Soligo missing that one, but Potluck here to clean it up. So FakeGod playing very well in that 1v2, honestly. I think certainly had Revenge's number in a 1v1, and then Insanity just is like, yep, I'm Viktor, I'm strong.
Such a strong pick right now. Was expected to be one of the better mid laners coming into the tournament, but not a lot of people capable of playing it, kind of going back to the Orianna, and this is just really beautiful stuff. The fact that I think Dardoch has a few stacks of the Ravenous Hunter is, I really think, what kept him alive there. Otherwise, he would have just gone down to the support 1v1.
Yeah, you can see Leandre's anguish also continuing to show how strong it is as a mage item. Dardoch had enough in the tank there to kill Joey, despite being very far away from him, but on that note, Insanity, as we saw in that last fight, now up to 2 items, so Leandre's plus Seraph's Embrace, which has been transformed, of course. So, looking pretty good here, especially with Collector there for Keith as well. Still about 6,500 gold up for IMT. They've got 3 dragons already. That kind of happened, not out of nowhere, of course. They picked them up, but I feel like after they win, you know, their different fights, with the pressure they had in the early game especially, they've just been able to snowball that objective as well. So Digger really running out of room on this battlefield to maneuver. Going to have to start seeing, you know, more of the team play elements of this comp come together in some sort of 4v4 or 5v5, which will be tough given how much gold they're down.
Hopefully they can afford to get a skirmish before they have to go for these team fights. Seeing Galio shadow the Camille could be an exciting proposition here. Maybe trying to kill the Gragas with a Karthus ultimate as well, because that's really the only play that you can go for right now. Using that ultimate to lock somebody else down that is by themselves, and time is ticking with 2 minutes and 30 seconds. If they're not able to find the play here, they'll actually have to contest vision at an even footing, and that's definitely a place where they'll lose. They're too far behind. So the moments right now are really important for setting up this future dragon and hopefully buying enough time for them to get some more gold. Otherwise, this IMT squad is just going to have a very 180 game 1 of the day to a game 2 against Dignitas, which is exciting to see because new players or new teams coming together and actually delivering consistent performances that don't feel like scrappy, throwy games, but rather well thought out approaches to victory. is nice to see from new guys.
Yeah, just I think Joey especially having a very standout game relative to how quiet his first one was. Nautilus looking good so far. It's been almost unmissable on those hooks as Revenge is poking in again. Got 2 items there. Dardoch going to get ulted up. Aphromoo going to try and save the town, but it's going to be a tough ask there. Does ulti out, but gets cancelled, and Insanity is able to pick up that next kill. As Keithy's in there. He wants to go. He's got the ulti ready. Great ult there. Trying to scatter them and do some damage as Dardoch will go down. Soligo diving in, but he gets out there with a soul unbound as Dardoch through death is going to get the ulti, but he doesn't get a kill. It is one only. There's a triple though from Revenge at the end of it all. And IMT, that's going to be a walk straight to Baron. And Soligo, ooh, trying to make it fancy. Revenge goes golden. Keith shuts it down. That's the Bud Light ace as IMT will wipe Dig off the Rift.
It was close. It was really close, though. Look at the health bars on the side of IMT. If there was a little bit more coordination on the side of Dignitas, you could have actually seen them with this composition and what they were thinking about be executed beautifully. It's just that the Galio gets blown up right away, and they're not able to chain the crowd control together. Yone at the very end is able to get the ultimate off, but by that point, it was already way too late. We're going to see how this opens up because IMT, they're just walking down the mid lane because they own this map. They can do whatever they want. That Dignitas is the one trying to engage is surprising because FakeGod was not around. He didn't have TP to get in there, and the Viktor has his available. So it's too late of an attempt, but you see what they were thinking about when they put these pieces together.
Yeah, I mean, just a bit more gold on that Karthus. Potentially very different there. And this is very stylish. Nice. Sun is there from Revenge, and Keith's like, all right, I'll snap that one up. Finish the ace and collect a Red Bull Baron in the process. Also, Mountain Soul's up, by the way. IMT going to go ahead and add that to the scoreboard as well. Going to have to fight here for Dig. They are very far down in gold, but again, we saw it kind of look good. Dardoch with a good Zhonya's there as Joey flashes in for the hook, but disengage ulti there. Dardoch is going to get blown up by CC. Keith just going to finish it off. Neo in the backline is going to get blown to smithereens as Potluck. He's able to clean that up. FakeGod's going to shatter as well, and it's only one left here. Soligo ultis back towards his Nexus, which is not the direction you want, and Sanity's going to chase him down. That E is not going to quite connect, but it will blow the flash as Immortals will pick up another teamfight win and the Mountain Soul to boot.
Love how decisive they've been thus far. Joey instantly hooking into the Karthus. He's really been the quiet winner of this game for me. He's done so much to make sure that Dignitas never got off to a good start here with so many crucial engages, and more importantly, being able to engage right away. I think that's a skill that's so undervalued by so many teams. Just the second that they see the opportunity, even if it's not the best one, being able to engage when the opponent doesn't expect it adds extra points to how likely that engage is to go well. And so here, the wall is down, you got your teammates ready, he's slow, just flashing in, and it's a good move to go for because if Karthus dies there, he won't be in the middle of his defile alongside the rest of his team. So eliminating Karthus at a distance was a really good move because you have the tools to do it with Gragas and the Graves to follow up. Love to see that call from young support.
And to kind of go back to what Kobe talked about after Immortals' first game of today, where they looked, you know, almost like a completely different team. He just asked for more cohesion from this team, right? Just do more things together. Absolutely on the same page now, it seems like, after that first loss. So Aphromoo going to get himself caught in the jungle trying to ward things up, but he's stunned in the gravity field for what feels like forever. And Potluck's going to end it early. He's going to take him down as he picks up his 5th kill of this game, 5-0 and 10 for the IMT jungler. But I'm going to look at Joey once again and point out that 17 assists in 20 kills, that's quite a lot.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, you're saying about you wanting to see more cohesion. So was Kobe. 1 second. Yeah, we might get a fight first.
Is he going to just die to Revenge? Yeah, FakeGod's going to get dunked in as Revenge. Unstoppable indeed. Takes down the Camille. IMT looking to bust through mid here, but don't have the Baron to do it with just yet. Soligo is just committed to split pushing. Very much the Yone solo queues treatment is being given to the tier 2 town and bottom lane. But, I mean, really, what else are you going to do? You have to try and get something traded here. You're definitely not winning a 5v5.
Well, they're trying to go on to Insanity,
Insanity
who's
1v2 here. Yeah, easily. 1v3, I think, as well. Aphromoo is maybe going to be the one that gets punished. But they have to, again, go for something here. Soligo TP's back to his teammates. Hook is going to miss for the first time in a while out of Joey. And Digger just getting chased back under their own towers.
they can end. They're just going to end them, and they're not going to even have a chance to defend their base.
No mercy out of Immortals, who are looking to bounce back after a rough loss here to start off their day and start off their LCS lock-in, but the Nexus is now exposed, and Dignitas will maybe have one more go at keeping Immortals off of this win, but it looks impossible. Potluck is going to take down the Karthus. There's the ulti out of him as well, but the double kill is going to come through for the Graves. Make it 3 as Aphromoo is going to fall down to the Kaisa. Keith going legendary. Neo getting shredded to bits, and Soligo will watch from the fountain as IMT are going to take down the Nexus, but not before they have dived the Yone. Someone's going to finish the game, and it's all okay. Immortals going to pick up their first win of the season.
Styling too, having some fun there with the fountain dives on the hourglasses, but they actually average more than a kill a minute on the enemy team. Really impressive opening out of them. The cohesion element, the fact that they're just doing plays together. Forget about what play is the right play. As long as all your teammates are involved and aligned with the mission, that's kind of been the evolution that the coaching philosophy and the approach towards teamwork in League of Legends has taken away from, this is the way to play League of Legends, to, it doesn't matter what way you play it as long as you're doing it as a team. And so seeing Immortals, young team, have elements of that. Right now, only 2 games into the lock-in tournament. Pretty cool stuff. This isn't even their main team.
Right, and I think it is very encouraging to see Revenge and Insanity both have a good game here as well. Insanity, I think, actually had 2 good games. Again, maybe pressed himself a little too much in their first game there on the Lucian, but was still showing like, hey, this is why I'm a mid laner that should be feared, potentially, in the LCS, even though he is new to this level of play. Revenge, I'm starting to think he, like, picked the wrong room page in game 1, because he looked way better with the Comet and the AP build in this game here, especially that solo kill in FakeGod. That was just beautiful.
It's so you always get a little nervous thinking that you're full AP Gragas, so squishy, having a body slam, so you're always a little worried that if you go tank, you're going to get popped right away, but you're always way more fine than you think you are when you go AP and you realize, oh, I just 2-shot people, I'm never in range.
Yeah, whatever the adjustments were for Immortals, they clearly made a big difference here. I mean, Joey on the Nautilus just seemed like he had way more agency than the Rel. Just overall, like a much better play game for Immortals, and I think we're starting to see, you know, quite a competition here in the LCS lock-in, which is always exciting to see. But after this quick break, we'll have Revenge talking about his first win